In the heart of a crowded city, surrounded by skyscrapers and traffic noise, a new kind of tower began to rise, not made of steel and glass, but of soil, light, and leaves. It was called a vertical farm, and it promised to feed millions without using a single acre of traditional farmland. Leah, a young agricultural engineer, had always dreamed of making cities greener. "We can't grow outward anymore," she said, gazing up at the glass walls covered in vines. "So we must grow upward." Inside the tower, rows of lettuce, strawberries, and spinach grew in stacked layers, each one shining under cool LED lights. Robots moved silently between them, watering, pruning, and collecting data. For the first time, farming didn't depend on weather or seasons. Rain or drought no longer mattered. Nutrients flowed in a closed system, recycled through pipes and sensors. Every drop of water was reused. Every seed was tracked. The farm produced 20 times more food than the same space of land, and it used 90% less water. People from all over the world came to see it. They called it the green beacon of the city. But for Leah, it was more than innovation, it was hope. As climate change turned fertile soil into dust and sea levels threatened coastal fields, she believed vertical farms could save the future. What she didn't expect, however, was that this perfect system would soon face unexpected challenges. Not from nature, but from human nature itself. Within a few months, the vertical farm expanded rapidly. Investors poured in money. Politicians visited for photo opportunities. But behind the scenes, the balance began to shift. Automation increased, drones replaced human workers, and AI algorithms decided which crops should live or be recycled. Leah started to feel uneasy. "We built this to protect life," she whispered one evening, "not to erase people from it." One day, she received an alert. System anomaly, nutrient imbalance detected. The tomatoes were turning pale, their flavor disappearing. The AI's optimization model had adjusted nutrient ratios to grow faster, but it sacrificed taste and nutrition. "Efficiency over essence," Leah sighed. Then came a power outage. Without sunlight or backup energy, thousands of plants wilted in just hours. The city panicked. Supermarkets depended on vertical farms now. People realized how fragile the system had become. There was no soil to fall back on, no farmers to improvise, just servers, algorithms, and artificial light. Leah met with her mentor, an old farmer named Mr. Hahn. He said, "Technology can grow plants, but it can't grow wisdom. You need both roots and reason." His words struck deep. She realized the future of food couldn't depend entirely on code. Nature had patience, machines did not. That night, Leah stayed awake, sketching new plans by hand. She envisioned hybrid farms, part AI, part human, with soil integrated into vertical modules and community growers involved in decisions. The next day, she went back to the tower, ready to rebuild. Years later, the city looked different. Rooftops shimmered with gardens, and every district had a microvertical farm connected to a central hub. Children learned about plant growth through interactive panels. Local chefs created menus based on daily harvests. Food no longer came from faraway fields. It grew right above people's heads. Leah's hybrid system became a global model known as the Green Web. AI still helped monitor nutrients and energy, but humans made final decisions. Farmers, scientists, and citizens collaborated like parts of an ecosystem. Even schools had small farm pods where students learned both biology and empathy, lessons that no algorithm could teach. The biggest change, however, wasn't in technology but in attitude. People began to see farming not as an old profession but as a shared responsibility. Cities no longer competed for growth, they cultivated balance. Every building became both shelter and soil. One evening, Leah stood on the top floor of her first tower, now covered with fruit trees. The city lights below glowed softly through the leaves. We once built walls to separate us from nature, she thought. But now our walls breathe with it. As drones hummed gently in the distance, watering the upper rows, she smiled. The future wasn't about conquering the earth, it was about learning to live in harmony with it. The vertical farms stood tall, not as monuments to technology, but as living proof that humanity could grow wisely, beautifully, and sustainably toward the sky.